Dear friends, welcome. Today, we are stepping into a territory that is often misunderstood, yet deeply significant for our personal evolution. We are entering the retrograde phase of Mercury, which begins its backward journey on February 26th and will continue to shape our reality until March 20th. I want to start by saying that Mercury retrograde is never a random glitch in the matrix. It isn't just a period of bad luck or a simple annoyance to be endured. It is a vital point of recalibration within the larger, grand architecture of time. Most of you, if you are sensitive to the subtle shifts in the atmosphere, already feel it. Something tangible is changing. The air feels thicker. The internal rhythm is shifting. But what truly matters is not the stereotype of things going wrong. What matters is understanding where this cycle naturally assists us and where it asks us to stop pushing against the current. Let us look at the mechanics, because timing is everything. Already from February 24th, Mercury begins to station. Astronomically, this is an apparent motion as observed from Earth, the illusion of the planet standing still before reversing direction. Yet this illusion has very real psychological effects. When Mercury stations, we feel it before we can intellectually register it. Momentum decreases. Processes that were moving at lightning speed suddenly lose their sharp definition. Negotiations might pause unexpectedly. Technology demands a level of patience we rarely practice in our high-speed world. This isn't a malfunction. It is a transition. A station is a threshold moment, a liminal space between forward projection and inward revision. It is the universe asking you to take a breath before the mirror is turned toward your inner world. On February 26th, at 6:42 a.m. Universal Time, the retrograde officially begins. From this moment on, the mercurial domains, our language, logic, cognition, and digital infrastructure begin to fold back on themselves. We don't just move forward, we revisit. Think of this as a cosmic audit. We find ourselves returning to conversations we thought were finished. We revise assumptions that we held as absolute truths. Timelines shift, and projects that seemed finalized reveal hidden, unfinished layers. And perhaps most notably, the past returns. Former partners, old misunderstandings, or abandoned ideas will resurface, sometimes directly through a phone call, and sometimes symbolically through a dream. This is not a coincidence. Mercury slows us down not to punish us, but to expose exactly what we overlooked while we were moving too quickly. Now, the sign placement this time makes this particular retrograde especially profound. Mercury is turning retrograde in Pisces. Pisces is the final sign of the zodiacal wheel. It carries the archetype of dissolution, karmic memory, and the vast, permeable ocean of the subconscious. This is not a rational territory. Mercury, the planet of analysis and sharp categorization, does not operate with its usual clarity here. In Pisces, facts blur at the edges, logic softens, linear reasoning dissolves into emotional perception. Between February 26th and March 20th, your mental processes may feel slower, even foggy. You might experience moments of subtle confusion, not chaos, but a sense that reality is less literal and more symbolic. Communication will feel indirect. Unspoken emotions will carry more weight than spoken words. In this space, the analytical mind weakens, but the intuition strengthens. Imagination intensifies, and the material from your subconscious rises closer to the surface. This is the paradox of Mercury in Pisces: heightened perception, but reduced structure. We must also remember that we are moving through an eclipse corridor. This naturally amplifies the sense of karmic acceleration. Eclipses destabilize what is outdated, and Mercury retrograde ensures that we consciously process exactly what is ending. Pisces activates the unconscious layers of the psyche. Suppressed emotions may surface, and old wounds may reappearing not to hurt you, but for final integration. You may suddenly remember someone from years ago, and moments later, they reach out. This is a powerful time for retrieval, finding the lost potential in ideas you once abandoned. However, Pisces also dissolves illusion. It is the sign where we often prefer the dream to the data. During this transit, certain illusions may no longer sustain themselves. You may feel a pang of disappointment as you realize your expectations were inflated, or that something you tolerated has quietly exhausted its purpose. It can feel like a crisis of faith, but I promise you, it is purification. Removing the rose-colored filter is uncomfortable, but once the fog lifts, breathing becomes easier, and the path ahead becomes precise. So, how do we move through this practically? First, if possible, avoid initiating large-scale new projects that define your long-term direction. Not because they will fail, but because during this retrograde, the data is still reorganizing itself. Information that is currently hidden will likely surface after March 20th. If you must sign a contract or make a major purchase, move with extreme awareness. Read every clause, create backups. Mercury doesn't demand fear, it demands precision. Second, this is an elite time for completion. Close your debts. Finalize pending agreements. End relationships that have already completed their internal cycle. Clean your digital archives and your informational field. Completion during Mercury in Pisces carries unusual power because it supports endings that are integrated and soulful. This is also a potent period for inner work. If you feel less structured or certain, don't fight it. Ask yourself, why is this sensation returning? What pattern is asking to be understood rather than avoided? Your answers will come through internal knowing, images, or bodily sensations. Spend time near water, the elemental medicine of Pisces. Water dissolves what is stagnant and washes away the emotional fog. As we approach the end of this cycle, remember that this slowdown is not stagnation. It is the deep inhale before ignition. On March 20th, the spring equinox arrives. The sun enters Aries, and the zodiacal wheel resets. Momentum will return to the collective field. Mercury will complete its retrograde, and everything that feels unclear now will begin to click into place. As we look at how this Mercury retrograde in Pisces impacts each of the 12 signs, remember how to watch this forecast. First, look to your ascendant, or rising sign. This represents the actual house structure of your chart, the physical terrain where these events will manifest. Then, listen for your sun sign to understand how your conscious direction is being recalibrated. For you, Aries, Mercury is retreating into your 12th house. This is the most mystical, hidden, and private sector of your chart. While you are usually the first to charge forward, the universe is now pulling you into the shadows, not to hide you, but to restore you. This transit is about the unseen. You may find that your dreams become unusually vivid, almost cinematic, carrying messages from your subconscious that you've ignored during your busy waking hours. Old karmic debts or secrets may resurface. It's a time to face the ghosts of the past with compassion, rather than your usual combativeness. If you feel a sudden drop in physical energy, don't fight it. Your soul is asking for a digital and emotional detox. This is the perfect window to close chapters that have been haunting you for years. Silence is your greatest ally now. Trust the whispers of your intuition more than the loud noise of the external world. For you, Taurus, Mercury is moving backward through your 11th house of friendships, social circles, and long-term aspirations. You value loyalty and stability. But this retrograde will ask you to look closely at your tribe. Are the people around you truly aligned with your evolving values? You might see old friends or former colleagues reappearing in your life. This isn't just nostalgia. It's an opportunity to see if there's a bridge that needs rebuilding or a connection that needs a final, graceful goodbye. Your hopes and dreams are also under review. A goal you set a year ago might feel different now. Don't rush to set new targets. Instead, refine the ones you have. There might be a misunderstanding within a group setting. Stay out of the drama. Use this time to reconsider how you contribute to the world and who you want by your side when you finally reach the summit. For you, Gemini, as your ruling planet, Mercury's retrograde always hits you harder, and this time, it's happening in your 10th house of career, reputation, and public life. The focus is on your calling. You might feel a sense of confusion regarding your professional direction, or perhaps a project at work is suddenly stalled by bureaucratic red tape. This is not the time to launch a new business or demand a promotion. Instead, look back at your past achievements. Is there a professional skill you abandoned that needs to be retrieved? Your public image is undergoing a subtle transformation. Be very careful with communication with authority figures. Misunderstandings are likely. If the plan seems to be dissolving, let it. This retrograde is clearing the path so that when Mercury goes direct, you can step into a role that feels more authentic and less like a performance. Cancer. Mercury is retrograding through your 9th house, the realm of higher learning, philosophy, and long-distance travel. This is a mental journey. You may find yourself questioning your belief systems or the big picture of your life. If you have travel plans, expect delays or the need to revisit a place you've been to before. This is a profound time for relearning. Perhaps there is a book you started and never finished, or a course of study that calls you back. Your perspective is shifting from the literal to the spiritual. Don't try to find all the answers through logic. Pisces energy here suggests that the truth isn't found in a map, but in a feeling. It's a period of intellectual purification, shedding dogmas that no longer resonate with your heart. For you, Leo, this is a heavy, transformative transit, as Mercury enters your 8th house of shared resources, intimacy, and deep psychological shifts. You usually prefer the spotlight, but this retrograde takes you into the engine room of your soul. You'll be looking at your financial entanglements, taxes, debts, or inheritances. It's an ideal time to settle old financial scores or reorganize your shared assets. On a deeper level, this is about intimacy and trust. Old emotional patterns in your closest relationships may resurface, demanding to be seen. You're being asked to look at your shadow side, the parts of yourself you usually keep hidden. It can feel intense, but it's a golden opportunity for healing. By the time March 20th arrives, you will have a much clearer understanding of what you truly need to feel secure and empowered. For you, Virgo, as another sign ruled by Mercury, you'll feel this shift deeply in your 7th house of one-on-one relationships. This includes romantic partners, business associates, and even open rivals. The other becomes your mirror. You might find that communication with your partner feels like it's happening underwater. Messages get distorted, and intentions are misread. Former partners may suddenly reach out or appear in your thoughts. This isn't necessarily a sign to get back together, but a chance to find closure or understand a pattern that started years ago. Don't sign any new partnership contracts now. Instead, use this time to renegotiate existing boundaries. Soften your legendary critical eye and try to listen with your heart. The goal here is to find a balance between your need for order and the messy, beautiful reality of human connection. For you, Libra, Mercury is retrograding through your 6th house of work, health, and daily routines. You might feel like your schedule is falling apart, Libra. Small tasks take twice as long, and your to-do list seems to be written in disappearing ink. This is a cosmic pause button on your productivity. It's time to look at your habits. Have you been neglecting your physical vessel? This retrograde asks you to return to a health regimen you've abandoned or to reorganize your workspace. Misunderstandings with coworkers are common now, so double-check every email. This isn't about doing more, it's about doing things better. Refine your craft, fix the small leaks in your daily life, and remember that your well-being is the foundation for everything else you build. For you, Scorpio, Mercury retreats into your 5th house of creativity, romance, and self-expression. For Scorpio, this can be a surprisingly nostalgic time. You might find yourself drawn back to a hobby or a creative project you set aside years ago. The muse is returning, but she wants you to look at old work with new eyes. In your romantic life, exes are almost a guarantee during this transit. Whether they show up in your inbox or just in your mind, they are there to help you review your relationship with pleasure and joy. Are you allowing yourself to play? Or has life become too serious? Use this period to rediscover what makes your heart beat faster. Don't launch a new creative endeavor just yet. Refine your current masterpiece until the fog lifts. For you, Sagittarius, Mercury is moving through your 4th house of home, family, and inner foundations. Sagittarius, the explorer, is being called back to the nest. You might deal with repairs in the home that were neglected, or find yourself caught in a loop of family nostalgia. Conversations with parents or relatives might bring up old stuff that was never fully resolved. This is a time for psychological house cleaning. Look at your roots. What inherited patterns are you still carrying? You might feel a pull to relocate or change your living situation, but wait until Mercury goes direct to make a final move. For now, focus on making your private space a sanctuary. Healing the foundation of your life will give you the stability you need to fly even higher when the spring comes. For you, Capricorn, Mercury is retrograding through your 3rd house of communication, siblings, and local environment. For a Capricorn who prizes clarity and data, this can be an annoying transit. Expect crossed wires, lost keys, and glitches in your immediate surroundings. Your car or your laptop might need a trip to the shop, but the deeper work is in your mind. This retrograde is asking you to change how you process information. Are you stuck in a rigid way of thinking? Use this time to journal, to revisit old neighborhoods, or to reconnect with a sibling. It's an ideal period for editing rather than writing. Go back over your ideas and strip away what is unnecessary. You are learning to speak a more intuitive language, one that relies less on facts and more on resonance. For you, Aquarius, Mercury is retreating into your 2nd house of money, values, and self-worth. You've been through a lot of changes recently, and now the universe is asking, what do you truly value? This is not the time for risky investments or major purchases. Instead, audit your finances. Look for money leaks and reorganize your budget. But more importantly, look at your self-esteem. Are you tying your worth to your bank account? This retrograde in Pisces asks you to find value in the intangible, your talents, your kindness, your vision. You might find a lost source of income or decide to return to a way of making money that you used in the past. When you clear the clutter from your financial life, you make room for true abundance to flow in. For you, Pisces, Mercury is retrograding directly through your 1st house of identity and self-image. This is perhaps the most personal transit of all. Pisces, you may feel like you're looking in a mirror and seeing a stranger. Your sense of who I am is shifting. You might feel misunderstood by others, or find it difficult to express your thoughts clearly. This is a profound rebranding phase. Don't worry about how the world sees you right now. Focus on how you see yourself. It's a time for a soul-level makeover. You are shedding old versions of your personality that no longer fit. While it can feel like a crisis of identity, it is actually a beautiful purification. By the time March 20th arrives, The fog will lift, and you will emerge with a much clearer, more authentic presence. Trust the process of your own unfolding. This retrograde is a rare window of quiet honesty. It is a season of retrieval, gathering the lost pieces of yourself before the year truly begins to accelerate. As you navigate these weeks until March 20th, remember, you are not behind. You are exactly where you need to be to ensure your trajectory is true. Don't fear the slowing down. Trust the silence. If this deep dive has provided clarity for your path, I invite you to subscribe and share this message. Your engagement helps this channel grow and allows us to continue exploring these celestial mechanics together. Thank you for being here. I will see you in the next cycle.